What's good, my peeps? It's your boy Rogelio Sanchez back at it again with another episode of the Vegan Trap House podcast. Today we're going to dive deep into addiction and recovery and explore the differences between AA and harm reduction. Strap in, folks, because it's going to be a wild ride. We're going to talk about a bunch of things, okay? Addiction is a beast that affects millions of people worldwide. It doesn't discriminate between race, class, gender, anybody. Anyone can get addicted anywhere at any time. But fear not, my friends, because there are options out there to help you overcome your addiction, right? There's the traditional recovery, right, that everyone knows, traditional AA, right? They've been around for ages. But harm reduction has emerged as a new player in the game, but they have their roots. It has its roots in the temperance movement, right? If you ever knew what the temperance movement is, it's very cool. It's essentially what hash is, right? It's like old school versus new school, Tupac versus Lil Nas X, flip phone versus iPhone. I hope you get the picture. AA is all about abstinence and spirituality. It's an abstinence only approach, right? Either you stop doing this or you're not sober, right? And to each their own. It works for a lot of people. Just didn't work for me. They have a lot of meetings and they work steps and stuff like that. It's a beautiful thing for those that it works with. It provides community, right? And it's like a support group on steroids. Harm reduction, on the other hand, looks at people as nuanced, right? And focuses on reducing the negative consequences of drugs and alcohol rather than stopping them completely. It gives people a chance to choose sobriety, right? Rather than just dying or going cold turkey, because going cold turkey doesn't work for everybody, especially if you're quitting something like heroin or meth or something, right? Or alcohol or pills, right? Now, I know some of you might be thinking, what? But isn't harm reduction just enabling people to continue using substances? And to that, I say, not really, right? Harm reduction recognizes that addiction is a complex issue that requires a range of supportive services, right? It's not about enabling someone to keep using drugs. It's about helping them get to a place where they can manage their substance use and reduce the harm that they are putting on their body and the community, right? That's why needle exchanges are super important. And they can work towards recovery without this expectation of abstinence-only recovery, right? Both approaches acknowledge that addiction is complex and requires support and understanding. They both emphasize personal responsibility, but where they differ is in their approaches to substance use, right? AA believes abstinence is the only way, while harm reduction believes that minimizing harm and supporting positive changes, no matter the level of use, right? Looking at people as a human being, as a fallible person, right? And you have to, AA looks at it as just don't do it or you're not sober. Harm reduction looks at, like, what can I do to help you get to a place where then you can quit successfully, right? I know some of you are thinking, well, which one is the best approach, right? What makes it best? What makes sense, right? And to that I say, there's not a one-size-fits-all approach to recovery, my friends, right? It all depends on the individual needs and preferences. For me, harm reduction is work. For my buddy Jonathan, AA works, right? It's like choosing between pizza and tacos. Both are delicious in their own way, right? And it's up to you to pick what satisfies your cravings for you personally, right? I wouldn't suggest a non-alcoholic beer to an addict to an alcoholic that doesn't feel comfortable drinking a non-alcoholic beer. I am an ex-alcoholic or recovering alcoholic, and I love non-alcoholic beer. So it's very much like a to each their own kind of thing. AA has been shown to be effective for some individuals in achieving long-term sobriety, and the support and sense of community that the program can offer is invaluable, right? I love that. We actually recently started our support group at Hash, right? However, AA may not be effective for everyone, and the program's emphasis on abstinence only may be unrealistic, like I said, for some individuals, right? Abstinence only from heroin is just like almost not realistic, right? Harm reduction, on the other hand, recognizes that addiction is a complex issue that requires a range of supportive services. Harm reduction programs offer a variety of services that can be tailored to meet the individual's needs of each person, right? The individual needs of each person. However, harm reduction programs may not be effective for individuals who are not ready or willing to make changes of their substance abuse problems, right? We have people that come and pick up needles, and I hope eventually they're going to get sober, but some of them are just enjoying the free needles, right? And as long as they're staying alive, whatever. So what's the conclusion to this whole thing, right? Well, in honesty, in my opinion, the best approach to recovery would depend on the individual's needs and preferences. That's why harm reduction is important. It's an option. There is no one-size-fits-all approach to addiction recovery. An individual should have access to a range of supportive services to help them achieve their goals. But here's one thing. You know what I mean? No matter which approach you choose, the most important thing is that you're taking steps towards recovery. Addiction can be very dark and a very lonely place. It'll drag you down to the deepest parts. I've been there. But it doesn't have to be. There are people who care and want to help, like me and my staff at Hash and the community that we have created, right? All you have to do is take that first step to ask for help, right? It's the cheesiest thing in the world, but the first step to getting help is admitting that you have a problem. But I just want to say all that, and I want to say that I love you, and you are worthy of recovery, and you are worthy of love. That's a wrap, though, for today, right? Thanks for tuning into the Vegan Trap House podcast. Don't forget to hit us up on the social media. My name has been Roger Sanchez. I love you all. Peace and blessings, and see you on the south side. Visit Hash Vegan Eats.